Proud to call you my mom. Go.
So what I'm doing now is I'm calling my mother on the home phone number that I grew up dialing when I was like sick or whatever at the nurse, which was often. So I have it memorized, but I also have the function on the phone that does it for me. So I'm going to call my mom and I'm going to read a poem to her that I wrote about her. My mom just answered the phone. Hi, Mom. It's me. I'm at the Riot X show, like I told you. I think that you're watching. You don't have to say anything like we discussed, but you can if you want to. Is that okay? Okay. I'm going to read you a poem I wrote recently called What I Made My Mother. I hope you like it, but you don't have to. Okay. What I Made My Mother. My mother makes me COVID masks from dresses I would wear as a child that she had made in the first place decades ago by hand. I used to dress up as characters I'd read about, girl characters, and my mother would make their dresses for me so I could pretend I was like them, like the sister in Little Women who dies. I don't remember her name, but she dies. My mother used to make her own clothes by hand. My mother has always been handy. She can be pretty quiet, and I've always suspected she prefers that you don't know how she feels about anything. But she will cry if I am crying, and she will get on the phone and fight medical bills until they are affordable. She is a miracle that meant our family could afford my adolescence. My mother has always been necessary. My mother has always been filling in the holes in my own competencies. It took me 45 minutes to thread a needle last summer because I was heartbroken and my hands shake. I used to think it was because of the caffeine. Now I know it was probably just the heartbreak. In college, I used to drink too much coffee. I stopped before the drug could shake the me out of me. At 11, I used to eat. I stopped before the girl could shake the boy out of me. A bone scan taken back then before everything that would happen happened said I was supposed to grow up to be 5'7", the same as my mother. I'm only 5'2" now. Now only our feet and hands are the same size. I wonder if my mother's rings could fit onto my fingers. I wonder if I could ever fit into my mother's shoes. I wonder if we would have been the same person. I wonder if we are the same person. I once wrote a poem about someone who's getting married but disparages marriage throughout the poem to their mother's chagrin. My mother found that poem in the printer and noticed things in it that showed she understood it, but she's always saying she doesn't understand art. And every time she does, I wonder who you hear telling you that. My mother used to be a photographer. She took portraits of flowers on her honeymoon that show she understands flowers. I don't understand flowers. I don't understand the hunger of flowers, but I'm always keeping around the carcasses of dead flowers, pretending I'll make art from them one day. I'm always pretending I'll make art from death one day, but I think they are beautiful and they don't need anything. They so don't need anything. One of them exploded and garnished my floor with rotten petals, Mom. These dead flowers are just taking up space, exactly like me, and everything is rotting from the inside out. Even if it takes years to get there, it'll get there. I once wrote a poem about how motherhood must be like dragging a house uphill by hand for miles on end. I wrote about the mice feet that live inside that house's walls and how it rains acid even on a house you hand sew the skin of, and what happens when the house has a dead garden, and what happens when the house is a dead garden. I remember that poem made you cry. So that's the whole poem, Mom. You're welcome. I love you. Bye. Oh my God. Sorry, everyone. Curtain.